right, we should be live.
All right, let me get to the chat here. My phone just went to, hello, everyone. I'm blinking. I'm so sorry.
I'm waiting for it to say.
Okay,
it
it
is
hadn't
live.
gone yet. Okay, there we go.
Waiting for YouTube to refresh. Here we go.
We're live.
All right, there you go. Okay, I had to wait and pause my YouTube. All right, hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going.
Welcome.
There's John. John Larson.
Hey, everybody. As you're all trickling in slowly, I think I confused everyone by putting up the time.
I don't know how I was awake, but I heard the notification go off. And the first comment I saw, I think, was from T-Bone or somebody, and they were like,
Yeah,
is somebody playing a trick on us? This is Cassie pranking us.
Yes, let's go with that. Just wanted to trick everybody.
Yeah.
I don't remember when I thought about it, but I was like, I think I put the wrong thing. I need to go check on that. And then I never did.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that blinking. My shirt keeps lighting up. I'm having some power surges or something.
Yeah,
John.
Yeah, Mary's in the disco today.
You should have seen us before the stream. We were doing the chicken dance. we were getting down.
Trying to loosen up, get out some of these nerves because we haven't. I haven't been streaming in a while since
We've missed you. We've missed you around in the community. I wonder if is anybody else streaming right now? I didn't even look to see. I just wonder, I'm just wondering, but
don't know.
I didn't even check it out. We've got 9 likes, so there's going to be some folks trickling in.
All right, good. Thanks for the likes.
Oh, he's playing with the baby silkies. Did you get them, John? He got him some little silky. Oh, let's see. Yeah, some little silky chickens. You can do this.
But I sweep.
You can do the chicken dance with us. We've got one of those steam moppers. Have you ever used those? It's got like a vacuum and a steamer with it. Bissell. Oh, those things are great.
Hey, Roxanne.
There's Chevy Fish and Roxanne.
If you guys want to see me get really silly, maybe next time if you say, do the chicken dance.
We were doing the chicken dance before we got started.
Just to loosen up. Yeah, so Mary, so I just thought today would be a good day. Or a good topic would be, what was your first aquarium? Did you choose to plant it, or was it planted or not? I'm just going to roll off some questions of things we could potentially talk about, go into a little more. So what was your first aquarium? What would your next one be? If you add live plants to an aquarium, do you have to clean it? Is there more maintenance or less maintenance with a planted aquarium? Should you carefully plan out the plants or just plant anything you find? So stuff like that. I just figured we kind of go that direction for today's live stream. I hope that's okay with everybody.
Sounds good to me. And then if anybody's got any questions or wants to talk about anything, just let us know. But my first aquarium was like when I was little. I got one from Santa Claus, and it was like, the Fruity Pebble gravel and all the stuff in it. That's my very first aquarium. Before my parents knew nothing. It didn't last very long. The fish, I think I had some platies, maybe. Sorry about that flashing. I'm flashing people today. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not too distracting, so it's okay.
Okay. I think my first fish, I believe, were like platies, and they weren't, what else? And I wanted a blue gourami. At Kmart, they had this beautiful blue gourami, and I was so in love with that fish. And I begged and I cried and I pleaded for that fish, and my parents bought it. And it killed everything in the tank because I just put everything together. I didn't know any better.
I wonder, was it a dwarf gourami or a larger size?
It was one of the big blue ones, the big mean ones. Yeah. See, I I didn't
So
even know about that.
the little ones are sweet.
Yeah.
So the reason I know this is because I went and got a honey gourami from my tank 2 days ago,
Oh,
and I
did
was
you?
asking him about that. Yeah, because that's one of the fish I've been wanting. I was like,
Yeah.
I think I'll do a gourami. You know, I heard about them. They're like a feature fish. So yeah,
Nice.
but yeah, my first aquarium
Okay.
was in my 30s.
Yeah.
I'm still in my 30s, but the kids wanted a fish. I think, I don't know if they wanted a goldfish, but we got the goldfish and we brought it home. And so, mistake number one, we bought the fish before we had the aquarium.
Yep.
So then I did my research on aquariums and got a 20-gallon for the goldfish. So that was my first fish in my first aquarium. And because it was a goldfish, I just followed what the storekeeper's advice was to add gravel, but he did say to add like 3 to 4 inches of gravel. So
Right.
I didn't get terrible advice. I mean, you know, if you're not going to do planted, I got pretty good advice for starting out.
Yeah.
And then I added an Anubias, which the goldfish never bothered. So that was my first plant as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was like not planted per se. So before that, I had bedded bowls.
Yeah.
And I did plastic decor with those, and I did the glass marbles. So that was actually, the goldfish wasn't my first fish, but my first aquarium.
Yeah. Now, the first time I had, like when I got into the hobby, close the door, honey. Sorry, here comes the dogs as usual. Gavin, close the door. My first aquarium, like as an adult though, when I thought I was going to be serious, was when I was working for the pet store and I was grooming. Gavin, seriously, sorry guys.
Gavin,
And
you're
I was
big.
working, yeah, I was working for the pet store, and they told me basically whatever I wanted. If I wanted to do the barter system instead of them paying me, you know, I could pick out anything I wanted. So of course I was like a kid in a candy shop. Well, I saw discus and I saw angelfish and I saw a planted aquarium, my first one, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I went and got like all the fancy aqua soils. I had a 125-gallon tank. I put soil down, and the first plants I had were like Java fern, and I planted them into planted like Amazonia soil. So you know how that went. It didn't go at all. I had terrible ammonia spikes. I didn't know what I was doing. So all the plants, I did put some other plants in there, but they all died. You know, I didn't, and it ended up, I finally got it kind of balanced out after a while, and I did end up having discus, and I raised discus for a little while, and I had angelfish, but that was only because I had this pet shop helping me. You know, they were telling me what to do and all that stuff. But my first time that I did a planted tank was a total fail. So after that, I started keeping like cichlids, and I had like the yellow labs, and what are the ones that are yellow and blue? Is that the Mabunas, I think? I had all kind of.
If you're talking about larger fish, I know nothing about the name.
Okay. Well, they were
larger
just
fish.
little African cichlids, and I had like I had an aquarium with those, and those I had those forever. Like they were having babies, and
But
it
the
was
sad part is like those fish are all little. So when
yeah,
you go see them in the fish store, it's like it looks like those are fish that a beginner could potentially keep because they're like
yeah,
this big and they're cool looking. They're like so interesting looking. They look almost like saltwater fish.
right. That's what drew me to them. I thought they were so colorful and so cool, and you could do like the the rock formations, and they'd swim in and out, and they would have the babies, and
Yeah,
it
they
was
are
just
kind of
so
like
cool.
a freshwater marine fish
Yes.
because of that. But
Hey, T-Bone.
my son
T-Bone made
is
it
on
back.
too. Hey guys, thanks for trickling in.
Yes.
Um,
T-Bone was sad because he didn't think he would make it back because, he's in Australia. So this is their nighttime right now.
I
So
did. I made it back.
coming back,
I
T-Bone.
had you back. Thanks, T-Bone. But yeah, my son, we were in the fish store, and I'm like, you guys want to help me pick out a fish, but I give them a guideline. I'm like, this fish or this fish. And I try to keep them towards the tropical side.
Yeah.
You know, they'll go over and they'll see those cichlids. And I'm like, no, I can't get those. No. Not doing that.
They're not real hard, but you're not going to,
They're going to need a big tank, though. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like my lighting's dark. It got dark here.
Yours is dark and mine's flickering.
It was so hot. I was like coming home from school and subbing, and I was like sweating. It was so hot when I got in the car, and now the light is gone.
Oh my gosh, you've got to, not to interrupt, but you've got to go back to Roxanne's channel and watch her snail song she did today. It was so
another
good.
one. I've seen it, the previous one.
It was really good. It was funny and it was very educational. So that was pretty cute.
And I'm like moving away from snails. At first, I was like really interested in them, but I lost one mystery snail. So out of the two I bought, one survived and one, I don't know, didn't make it. So I figured I could only have one in there. And I'll take what I can get. I like the tiger nerite snails. I think
I do too.
My favorite so far.
And the rabbit snails. Roxanne and I were talking about those the other day.
I don't have any of those.
Oh, I'd like one of those.
Sorry.
I think they're cool.
My ear is like, maybe it's the weather. My ear's been
popping. Hey here, fishy.
All right, so the next question is so I'm kind of directing this towards like beginners, you know, but the next question would be, all right, so your next aquarium, what would it be? I mean, obviously we've had our aquariums. My first was the goldfish. So I've said, you know, the next aquarium I get, wanted to make it a planted aquarium.
Yeah.
Just because the more I researched and the more I learned, at first I didn't want plants at all, other than like Anubias, because I was like, oh, plants are too hard, and I just stayed away from them. I don't know if that was your experience. Like you moved on to cichlids, but at some point, you know,
I thought I could not grow plants, not realizing you weren't supposed to put Java fern, you know, in substrate. So I thought I was a failure.
And I made that mistake too. I planted in this 40. I put them underneath the gravel to kind of keep them there, and then the roots started rotting.
Right.
Learned that lesson too. But at some point, I decided to go back to plants. I guess once I researched enough and listened enough to people, that's the direction I was going in. I started going more and more towards people doing planted aquariums because I thought planted aquariums were going to be easier and balanced and take care of themselves. And I was like, I want to be able to leave and go away for a week
or months
and not have to do maintenance.
Oh, God,
I don't think I would ever be gone a month, but at least be able to leave my husband and like come home and everything's still alive. Like he won't
not give them so much to do. Like they could, you know, they could come in and feed once a week, top it off, that kind of stuff if needed, but they don't have to do any kind of big maintenance.
They should, leave it so that it could be left like alone.
Right.
So that, I guess that's the question then. Is there more maintenance or less maintenance with a planted aquarium?
Now, for me personally, I think there's less. I mean, once you get it established, you know, once I figured out how to do, well, like, you know, doing the deep substrate and the dirted and that kind of stuff, once you figure out how to kind of get that going and get it planted, to me, it feels like it's a whole lot easier. You know, the hardest thing is just making sure that you don't put fish in there that are going to tear it up. That's been the biggest issue. But as far as
well, so before we even get into fish, let's just talk about like we've started our aquarium. I guess you have to decide. These are kind of questions you have to answer.
Yeah, they are.
Before you get into fish, we'll get into fish in another video, I think. But yeah, the question before that would be, if you add plants, do you have to clean it? And then that would lead into, is there more maintenance? So I think, you don't need to clean them as much. But honestly, I still do water changes once a week. So with the gravel, like I was doing the gravel vacuuming.
Yeah.
Doing
Like
that
water change. Yep. Yeah,
but
John.
I was still doing the same regimen. I was still only changing like 30% and then just getting down in there. So I feel like I'm doing the same thing. I'm just not going down in there and messing with the substrate. I'm siphoning off any extra mold that's
and stuff. Yeah. Now, John said he thinks it is, and I agree. In the beginning, there's a little more work, like doing a little more water changes and just getting it established. So I did a lot of water changes when I first set them up, but now that they're set up, it's like so much easier, I think. And
well, like I don't think I have to water change once a week. I think I could let it go.
Yeah.
2 weeks, but I just do that, I guess, just to make sure everybody's okay.
Right.
They're happy and they stay happy. But I think if you forgot and you got lazy, you could let it go 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you know what? Well, after listening to Corey for a while, at Aquarium Co-op with my goldfish aquarium, I would only do once a month water changes with him.
Yeah.
So I might be doing more now because I'm just like, don't want anybody dying.
Right.
So I don't think there's like a good answer there. I think with both, it's about the same. And I did stop gravel vacuuming. Like I would leave a portion of the aquarium like alone because I had 4 inches. So I did just kind of leave that alone.
Yeah.
Not saying that's right or wrong. Just kind of what I noticed. I would check my nitrates and like I never had high nitrates. So I did just kind of do less and less and less and became more hands off of it. But yeah.
That was a big thing, learning not to mess with the aquariums. Because, back the first time around, I thought, I wanted to clean the aquarium, scrub it, bleach it. I wanted to like clean that sucker.
Well, that was me with my betta bowl.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm laughing at those betta bowl.
Right.
I might have even I would have an extra one and I would clean that one with soap and then get it set up and ready and then swap the fish in. And then I learned you shouldn't do that. And then I would still want to clean with hot water though, at least. So and I would stop using soap and I would use hot water. And then I learned you don't even need to do that.
Yeah.
Change the water.
Exactly. They turn into, I didn't really understand a lot of it until I came onto YouTube just to look at bettas basically. When I came back into it this time, I just wanted to see fish. And of course, the algorithm led me to like Corey and to MD and to Bring Aqua and just all these fantastic channels.
But I stayed away from, I do love Green Aqua. I do love those channels, but I started to stay away from them because they were using CO2. So I was gravitating back to keeping it simple and not using CO2. And
low tech,
trying to do no filter. And that's actually what led me to MD probably because he was doing no filter and still does no filter. He prefers that method.
And the bowls and all the different,
because he said you have more maintenance when you start including CO2.
Well, you got to learn that balance too. You've got to know how to do the lighting correctly, and I don't understand all that yet. How all that works. Now, Roxanne has been using like one of those. I'll get it right here in a minute from boostplant.com, but it's it's kind of a DIY kit. I can't remember what it's called. She'll probably tell me in a minute. Yeah, and LRB, that's another one here, Fishy. Watching LRB, that was another one that brought me in. I watched him all the time.
I think between MD or after MD, I went to LRB. I was watching him, and I would just if I listen long enough, I'm actually kind of learning. So I would just he'd be one of the guys I would just sit and listen to and pick up tips from.
Right.
It was interesting.
That's what she said. She said, only extra work she has now is plant trimming. I can imagine.
Yeah, that's all I've been doing lately is I've been plant trimming a lot.
Yeah. I just butchered mine up to try to get it back. Well, this is like the third time I've worked on it since I've been home. It was a mess. It was really a mess. But
starting out, so that's stuff you learn as you go along, and you're like your plants are establishing, and you kind of learn what plants. If you do decide to go the planted route, so let's say you're here, you've decided to go the planted route. Good choice.
that's right.
Good decision. I think it's more rewarding.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, it's way more interesting. I'm looking at the plants a lot, but sometimes in a good way and in a bad way. Sometimes I'm like, there's algae. And then it stresses me out. But when there's no algae and everything's balanced, I'm like, then I'm sitting there and enjoying the plants just as much as the fish.
Yes, it is. It's like, well, it's like where I don't have a yard anymore. I feel like it's kind of like my little yard, my garden, and then the fish enjoy it. And I just love the green, just the plants. It's beautiful. And I just got me today I went and got me the one of these books so I can start really learning what I'm trying to, articulate.
I'll Google it too. I'll Google the plant and try to learn about it.
I'm just old school.
That's what I started doing. I was Googling it, but it was like, so the next question I guess would be, so when you start your aquarium, I guess, and you're doing planted, we would have to talk about substrate at some point, but I want to not talk about that today. We're researching, we're feeling it out. We don't want to worry about that yet, but maybe answer some questions people might have if they've decided to do planted. So the next question might be, like roadblocks, things that might be roadblocks, like getting you into a planted aquarium. These were my roadblocks, so I guess that's why I'm bringing them up. But should you carefully plan out the plants, or can you plant anything? So that would be like a question that maybe we could answer if maybe some people have that.
Yeah,
I know my answer, but so my answer would be like, I don't think you need to have anything carefully planned out.
Right.
Just get plants.
At this
point. I don't
point.
think you need to fill it out even. Just
right, John.
So I went slow and I just planted what I could. And then I just added like a few like feeder fish to get it started.
Roxanne said something good there. To grow the plant, you must know the plant. To know the plant, you must be the plant. Learn about its origin, environment, and imagine its yearly struggles. That's me. I didn't have any experience with plants. So basically,
I just try out plants.
Yeah, I just like threw them all in there. And now as they're growing, I'm like, oh, now that would be a better foreground plant. And that would be a better background plant, where I just put them all in there to see if I could even grow them. First plant I got growing was Hornwort. Oh, I thought I was a green thumb. I didn't realize Hornwort would grow in a toilet if you wanted it to, But
I think it's worth
got me the plant.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that your aquarium is not going to look like Mary's right away. It's not going to look like mine does now in the beginning. And I've got those beginner aquarium videos on of like the first plants I put in there.
Yeah.
And it was not pretty.
Right.
But I was learning the plants. I was learning what would do well with my water, I guess, and with the lighting. I was learning the lighting and the photo period. And I still am.
Yeah. Same here.
It doesn't stop.
Oh, that's another thing. The first time around, was back when we still had like the fluorescent bulbs and all that stuff. And you had to have the certain, I never could understand lighting when I first tried planning aquariums. Now that we have, yeah, and now that we have LEDs, it like changed the whole game. Like where you couldn't grow plants before, now like I can go to Lowe's and get one of these right here. This is a $14 LED spotlight that I use over my bowls. And it grows plants great. Or, these inexpensive, like I use these Ming Dak and Tiger lights. And lighting was a big key that I didn't realize was the problem. Or, of course,
that's what kept me away from planted when I first started, was because my aquarium, I chose the Aquarium kit. It came with the hood. And I was like,
the little bulbs in it or whatever.
So I think that brings up like a myth, like, can you grow plants with affordable lighting? Because I thought you'd have, and from the book I was reading too, I think at the time, like you would need like the T2 lights, and those lights are not cheap. So that was also one reason I stayed away from plants. And then seeing people like MD, he's really, I think, he helped push me to realize that you don't need these expensive lights to do plants and grow plants.
Like this light on here, well, except for me having power surges right now, it's the whole room doing it. It's not just my light. But it was like $20 or like $20 on Amazon. It was really cheap. And it just blew my mind that plants started growing. I was waiting for them to all melt off or die. I didn't realize, plants, when that some of them melted. And of course, if they melted, I'd just pull them up and throw them away, not realizing that they had a root system going and that they would come back. So that was something I didn't know about until I came on, on here and started learning stuff.
Yeah. Well, and mine did that too, and I did what you did. I planted the moneywort. I had bought moneywort from the store, and when I realized it was the same stuff growing in my pond, then I started pulling it out of my pond and using that and putting that in my aquarium. And I did a video on that, which is like one of my most popular videos, actually. Yep. The store-bought moneywort versus.
I remember that one. Yep. That was a good
one. It melted back. I want to say the store-bought one maybe melted back a little more. So I thought it died and I pulled it out. But I think it was, what I could have done was just what I learned to do with it's like relative, the Bacopa.
Yeah.
Carolinia. I just trimmed the tops off because the bottom leaves were all falling off. So I trimmed the tops and replanted the tops. And then it grew back and it looks great. So that's one nice thing about that. That's a good beginner plant because it doesn't look good. You can just trim it and replant it.
Yeah, that's a good plant. And I keep telling, I know I talk about it all the time, but another really easy plant is this Pogo stem and Stellatus Octopus. But it goes crazy. I mean, it'll take over the whole tank, like the bow will.
That's one that I feel like is really leggy. I don't know.
It does get leggy. It has to be trimmed a lot because it gets really, like where mine grew out, it was like all coming up and over the tank here, and all of that was stalks, or stems, or what I said, stalks, but stems, and I'm having to like regrow out all the bushiness to it because it got bad.
Yeah. Well, we got. Just want to say hi. We got.
Yeah.
How many other people have joined us now? I think Karina, Karen just popped in.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Said hey to Here Fishy.
John says, if you have sand cap substrate, the plants will grow. Mm-hmm. My thin valve has gone crazy. So, yeah, I mean, all of my aquariums are capped with sand, whether it's gravel underneath or soil underneath. But I have to fertilize with the one that was gravel that I didn't want to restart. And I just kept it with sand. I had to add root tabs to that one.
Now that's something I haven't had to do yet, but this one I'm getting to the point where, because it was stratum, and then I capped it, but I'm going to have to put some root tabs in here to get it kind of greened up again. Now I had like all the liquid fertilizers, like the Easy Green, and I had the stuff from Co-op, and then I had the stuff from Dustin's, and it worked good, but it didn't, like, it got, I don't know if it didn't last very long. It ended up getting like a film in it, and I didn't know if it was still safe to put in the, you ever seen how vinegar gets a mother in it? Like a what am I trying to say? It just had this film floating around in it, and I didn't know what that was. Sorry. Never fails. Quit talking.
You're fine.
It never fails. Always. Quit, Minnie. Minnie, keep the door. Hold on a second. Keep the door.
Let's see here. Let Mary take care of that.
So sorry. So sorry.
Doggies. I locked my office so nobody can come in and bug me. No animals.
Yeah. Good night. Going to bed.
Yep. Late. Thanks for stopping in though.
Yes.
So then the next question might be, we kind of got off on a tangent. It's real easy to do.
Yeah.
All right. So no, I don't think you have to wait to plant. I think you can plant as you go, learn about your plants, try things out, see what works and what's not working. And then also try multiple sources for your plants. See, and then you can find out what source you like the best. And I wouldn't avoid like local fish stores or local pet stores. You can definitely go look. I avoid like one of them. I don't know if I should say it, but just because I don't know what I'm getting. Because the plants, when they're in the containers, I can't see it. I can't read the name. Half the time they're not labeled. I do want to go home and do more research because that's what I do. So learn from me. Find out what plants are working. Because I recommend the plants that are working for me and doing well in places that I've gone to that they've done well for me. But local stores also I've bought from them as well, and their prices can vary. Sometimes they can be higher, but not always. So I do both. I do my local store, and I actually probably started there, and then I went online when I was getting not seeing what I wanted at the local store.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of one of the channels I also found was Dustin's, Dustin's fish tanks. He really introduced me to how to do aquariums and stuff. That was another one I watched. And watching
his too.
Yeah. And that was, back when you used to go to pet stores when I was a youngster or whatever, you never saw plants in stores. They were selling plastic and that kind of stuff. So that's the difference today too, is you can find plants at different places, or see you see more plants is what I guess I'm trying to say.
And I think I'm pretty lucky being here where I am, because it's pet supermarket, they have they have plants that I'll see. Like they'll have those special plants that like maybe you can only find online, or you might not even find in this area, but you could find over by Corey and in Washington and in California. Like I think those states maybe tend to get better plant selections than we do.
Yeah.
My local fish store, sometimes they'll have it and sometimes they won't. So it's like if they do, like it'll get bought up. Like if you don't buy it right then and there, someone will buy it all up, and then you may not see it again.
Right.
Trying to think what it was. Like it was like an example might be like Monte Carlo. What else? Hydrocodal, like the stuff that looks like little shamrocks.
Oh, I love, yeah.
They had that, and I was like, I went in the next week. I'm like it didn't look bushy, so I didn't get it. Because I want stuff that looks nice and thick and healthy already, so that when I add it to my aquarium, it's going to have a good start. And I went the next week, and I asked about it, and they're like, "No, we didn't have that." I'm like, "But you did."
I saw it.
So interesting. So yeah. So then the next question might be, how are we doing on time? Can we keep going? Good.
Yeah, 120.
We want to talk about Hardscape a little bit, maybe. So if you're setting up your aquarium, even if you're not buying plants, you might be asking like about hardscape. Can you wait to do hardscape, or should you have that thought out and do it right away, or go ahead and fill it up with water and add it later?
Yeah. Now, before, this, like these are like my first aquariums, really, as far as they are my first aquariums as far as plant tanks. So it was kind of just like throw everything in there. And, I watched all these great videos of them building all these wonderful aquascapes, but that's not, that's not something I was really prepared to do yet. But like, I bought Ceres stone and driftwood and all that stuff. And but now that I've kind of set it up,
I can't get Ceres stone. I can't get that by me.
Oh goodness. Oh, let's see, where did I get my Ceres stone? I actually got my Ceres stone at Petco or PetSmart. Like they sold a bag of it for like $30 or something. Let's see. Oh,
I take that back. There might be some smaller pieces, nothing like large, like smaller, like for cichlids that you might build and to build caves. You can get that kind of stone. But really, I had to go collecting. I had to go look for stone. But again, I'm in Florida and there's like no stones here. But I did a video on my rock collecting also.
Yeah.
So you can see like what I did end up doing and what I did end up using. And I think it turned out good. It's like it's man-made concrete, but it looks made to look like stone. And I think it looks good. But I added that after the fact. Like I added the plants first, but I kind of left like the area open where I knew I wanted to put hardscape in. And I knew I wasn't going to do anything like big, because the bigger you do it, the more expensive that would be. Right. Unless you just have something big laying around that you can use.
Right.
So I did keep that in mind. Like I had an image in my head. So I guess my point is like, yeah, you can wait to do your hardscape. And I never lost that picture.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, I want something big. And I followed the rule of 3. So when I was out collecting, I was looking for 3 rocks that would be kind of like big, medium, and small.
Yeah.
It would go together. And I wasn't sure how big the largest rock was going to be. I think it all worked out really well in there, like the perfect size in there. So, yeah. You'll have to just trust me and go look at one of my videos to see.
Right.
So, yeah. So T-Bone has a question, though. He says, I have been having trouble keeping my bettas. I went through 3 in 5 months, so I'm going to buy from a different source. So it's hard to know, why you might be losing your bettas. Beta. I say it both ways because, my family makes me say beta.
I said beta or forever.
We all started saying beta. It was always beta. And then, I started watching the YouTube and everybody was saying beta.
Right. My kids still make fun of me. They say I've gotten snobby. I'm like, betta fish.
My family does not like me saying beta. So they'll still say beta. The non-fishy world people say beta.
Right.
My family never got into it as much as me.
Yeah, I don't have any.
The one who wanted fish when I was a kid. Like I was always like, but I wanted saltwater. And I was like, Dad, can we get a saltwater tank? So kind of going back to your first tank, I had this story I was going to mention, but I don't know why. We never got into fish. I wanted fish. It was always like, it's too much work.
Yeah.
But my dad did have saltwater fish. So it would have been really nice if he took the initiative and set one up so I could kind of learn with him. I didn't get to do that. Are
you still going to do not mean change subject, but is that still your project you're going to be working on?
Yes. So I've the last stream we talked about that. And I got all the supplies, and I think I was just missing the hydrometer. And I was told I was going to get the hydrometer from a certain someone, and then I didn't. So I was kind of waiting for that. And then I did just go ahead and buy like the cheapest one I could get on Amazon.
Yeah.
But I have everything except for the wave maker. So that might be nice to get to help me mix the water, but
Right.
I can get it set up like today if I wanted to, with just salt water. And then
Okay.
so I was kind of waiting to get sand and
Sorry.
use sand first.
I just did the wrong thing. I was laughing at Chevy. She was telling us the correct way to pronounce it. Beta. That's right. Beta's like those, what, BH cassettes?
I can't read that spelling. I don't know. Beta. I don't know. Which one is she saying is right?
Beta is right. Beta, like BETTUA.
And that's what I told my husband. I was like, I think now I'm going to get it confused. I'm going to try to keep it straight. But, beta is like the Greek alphabet letter, and beta is the fish.
Yes.
Spelled different, so it's pronounced different.
Oh, Al Wet Socks is stopping in to say hello.
Hey, Al. Good to see you. But yeah, so I'm kind of like in the wishy-washy stages of the salt water, like I was when I started my planted aquarium. I mean, it took me a long time to get to where I am with the planted aquarium mentally.
Right.
So I've been wanting to do it for years, and then this is what I do though. I just go out and start getting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Start collecting.
I got the aquarium, so I'm like, I'm gonna get. I bought the aquarium, and then that sat in my room because I didn't have the stand, and that sat in like the bedroom for.
I do the same thing.
Maybe a year before finally my husband was like, okay. I stopped caring about what stand I got. I wanted him to build me one, and I just stopped. I let that go. When I let that go and I was open to other possibilities, then I got a stand. He bought a stand, and so I've got it set up. I'm like, I'm fine with that. I'm happy. It's set up at least. I can get going now.
That's where I'm at with the 33 gallon I have. I don't have a stand for it. And all these little aquariums I have, all these little nano tanks and stuff, are basically just like little experiments. And each one of them, of course, has a beta in them. But what it is someday I'm going to take all these plants from all these aquariums, and I'm going to attempt to make a real, well, I don't know about a totally aquascape, like you're going to put on green aqua, but I want to have some mature plants, and I want to be able to plan it a little better, like, do the hardscape. I got me a piece of wood. I found a nice piece of wood. I think I've shown it before.
If you're only going to do the one aquarium, sometimes that can take longer to get started because you want that to be a certain way, to look a certain way.
Like I found this at the flea market for $5. So this is my inspiration piece I'm going to use.
Cool. Then I maybe should have done that. I didn't do enough flea market shopping. Maybe I should have gone to the flea markets. I'll bet if I go, they'll have wood there. That didn't come into my mind to even go there.
Especially in Florida, I'm sure y'all would have all kind. In Kentucky, oh my gosh, we've got driftwood everywhere because of Lake Cumberland.
You can't find it here. Like if I go out today, it's like a jungle.
Yeah. That and there's like
go through the woods, you're gonna get poison ivy rash. You're gonna run into that. So I don't know.
Johnny.
I don't know if people go and like if there's anything to be found, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably really wet and rotten.
Yeah, that's the other thing you have to be careful of. I don't know exactly what this was made out of, but what kind of wood it is. But it was a hardwood. I know that. I just don't know.
Yeah, if that falls off of the tree and you're in a dry climate, that's going to dry out and be sun baked But here it's just going to probably fall off a tree and sit in water.
Yeah. And water. Let's see. Oh, that's true, John.
But I can go collect duckweed easily. Not easily. I can find duckweed easily. Collecting it's another problem. That's another topic for another day. So
I've looked everywhere trying to find plants around here, you know, to just collect that, like when you did your one on your pond, when you collected the money wort.
it was not like I wasn't going to go into the pond, so it had to be like right up on the bank for
On
me
the
to
edge.
do that.
Looks like grape stalks, maybe.
I don't
And
know what it is. I'm like nervous about going in with bare feet. I don't want to step on anything, or
Florida, you might step on an alligator.
I don't want to get bit. So.
Oh, there's Peplin. Hey, Peplin.
Hey, Peplin. Good to see you. So then just trying to round this out, you know, I thought like a good maybe finishing question would be, so we talked about when can you add plants? When can you add hardscape? And then when can you add fish would be the next logical question maybe. And again, I think you can add them, you know, as soon as you've got the plants in there. If you just start with like a feeder fish, a really cheap fish, you can add, now we go into tank size, but you can add a few. And then I use pond fish. For me, it would be hard to add feeder fish because then it's like, what do you do with them when you're done?
Yeah.
For me, I just put the fish back in my pond when I was done with them. So
I would have that.
You'd have to decide, are you comfortable with adding feeder fish, and then what are you going to do with them? I guess keep them, or you can't take them back to the store. Stores don't let you take them back. So that would be a question I guess you'd have to figure out. But yeah, you could just add the fish you want and then add slowly. So for me, this is like, if you're going this route, you don't have an endless amount of resources or income, like for green aqua. You're going to start slow. You're going to have it like MD. You're going to have that picture in your head about how you want it to look, and then just keep pursuing that until you get there. And it might take months to get there, but it'll happen. So now, like, I'm at that point now where I started slow. I added a few plants. I learned which ones did well. Added a couple more plants. They started out small. The swordtails. I got the swordtails. They're doing really well, but they're huge. So I'm learning about the swordtails and how big they really do get. Yeah. And now I'm like, do I want to take those out? So I've done a lot of replacement. Plants, I've taken them out. I've left the swordtails, but I put two right next to each other. I took one out because it was just too, they need a lot of space. You can't plant those right next to each other.
Yeah.
So now I'm at the point where they've grown so huge. I'm trying to decide, do I want to keep them in there? So for me, that's me going forward. I'm still trying to figure out what plants are going to continue to work and be successful in that aquarium, even though it's looking great. Whenever I show it to you, you're like, oh, that looks great. I'm like, it does look good, but
well, that's another thing.
Long term, and I think it can change.
I've ordered like 2 big plant bundles. Like one time I ordered one off of Amazon, and it was like 25 different stem plants or whatever, and basically most of them died, but a few made it. Then I've ordered specific plants from places like Co-op, and then I ordered a package from Dustin's one time, and it had all kind of plants, but it was hard for me to really tell which ones were which. I didn't know until now. I'm starting to see them, and I'm like, okay, I've got a sword, I've got a what's the dwarf chain sword, I've got the bow, the crypts. Crypts are a great plant.
So that's what I need to try. I haven't tried a dwarf.
Oh, crypts are great.
No, the crypts I love.
Oh,
I love the crypts.
yeah. Oh, the little chain swords.
I just did 2 videos on crypts. I'm in love with those plants.
They are great plants.
But you know how we were talking about them melting and dying? Like they do a couple of them, like, because they're in different spots on my aquarium. A couple of them do seem to melt, and like one right now looks like it's dying on me. And I'm just leaving it alone and hoping that it's just some parameter changed.
Yeah.
It's melting back. You know, because a couple of things have changed.
Yeah.
Lighting
they will typically, yeah, they'll typically melt though. Like a lot of people, I know I've seen where a lot of people just actually cut the tops off of them before they plant them because they already know they're going to melt. Same thing with like Val. I've seen people do that, but now mine.
See, I don't think mine melted when I first planted.
But
when I ran into like cyanobacteria and I added that, like they've melted after each instance of introducing that.
Have they?
I don't know why.
I don't know what my thing just did. I'm always
now I'm like a little bit leery of adding.
Oh yeah, and water flow can
blue-green
affect
stuff.
the plant. Absolutely, that's like mosses. I haven't really. Now I'm growing Sabwassertang. You know, I need to send Lori some Sabwassertang. I've owed her that for like a year, but I sent you and Roxanne some. Lori, I still got it here.
Yeah, and that's one thing I was like, the next time I see you, I wanted to ask you about the Sabwassertang. Because like mine's in the front, and that's like that was what I had in my head. Like I wanted Sabwassertang up front in my aquarium, and so you sent me some, and I was able to do that. But like, it grows algae. It's like covered.
Yeah,
algae.
It will bring algae or hair algae or whatever. It really will, because it grows really slow. But like in some of my tanks, I have no algae at all. But my shrimp tank that has it in there, it's full of it. It's full of hair algae.
And I was going to ask you about that. Like, do you get the hair algae on yours? Because I think it seems like it's suffocating it. I don't know. I feel like it's not able to grow because it's.
I think that the lighting is the biggest factor on the Sabwassertang with the algae growth. Like I've got it growing in my little tanks that have like one bed of fish and just have like the little LED lights, like an Anubias or a Java fern. It does do well with a little bit lower light. I may be completely wrong, please, but in my experience, the ones that are in my low light tanks is growing really well. And then the one that I've got like a planted, I think I've got a Hydro light on it, and it's right above the Sabwassertang, and it's getting the green hair algae on it. So
I can't say that it's got strong lighting because it's kind of towards the front. So it's not like under the direct light where like any plant that wants lighting and wants high lighting would be directly under the light. Like this is like 6 inches in front of that.
Yeah.
But I was getting an afternoon sunlight that was pretty darn strong. And I think that's when I was getting my algae bloom.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, I'll just wait and see what happens. But that's where I feed the fish. So when I go in and I look, like it's covered in fish poop. So I think the fish poop is growing the algae. And I would have to siphon that out daily, which I'm not. I don't do and don't plan on doing because it's a deep tank to try to get in there. I try to put my hand out.
Chevy and Roxanne are agreeing that it likes the lower light and hasn't grown algae, because that's what I'm seeing. Like my little tanks that have it, that just have like little LED.
That's what's in this jar. I have it in the back. This light is hard to say that I'm clueless on what light setting needs to be on this jar, because this light has 3 settings from high, medium, and really low.
I do have some underneath these like little spotlights, like I showed you a minute ago. I do have some Sabwassertang in my jar under this, but it's way high.
This is bright, medium, and then low. And
it's probably better on that low setting.
I've alternated between medium and low, but then I don't know which setting is actually working. I get confused because I've alternated and I'm like, was the lower setting doing better? Or because my duckweed has started turning yellow on top and it wasn't turning yellow before.
Okay.
So I'm just at that point where I'm like, I don't know which one was working, so I don't know which setting to put on.
Yeah.
So I've just kept it on the medium.
And is it growing though? Are you getting a lot of algae in your bowl, or is it doing okay?
No, I don't get any algae. But again, like I'll see like stuff that was doing really green and then it stopped, then it started turning yellow, and I don't know what caused it to turn yellow, if it was because I changed the setting. So yeah, that's why we won't talk about that. That's not clear in my head what's going on there.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I feel like that's what we're trying to avoid. And that's what we're here. We're here to try to help people. Don't get lost in my confusion, okay?
There's Kenny and Fishymon. Hi, Danican Aquatics.
Hello, guys. Hi.
We're trying to get Kenny up to 2,000 subs, y'all. He's in a race with my friend Chris at Multi Tank Addiction. So we got to get these guys up to 2,000. I think so too, John. And we've got like 15 likes. So
short notice. So why was this short notice? I did this like a day in advance. So how much notice do people need?
Well, since I haven't seen you in a while, I guess it was just,
Oh, well.
Yeah, I just told people about it yesterday too.
Maybe like a week. Like if we're going to do this every third month, give you guys a week heads up. I don't want to jinx it though. We've had to reschedule so many times. I'm like, I'm scared to put anything out there. And because I had one out there and it was private though, but we ended up not being able to do it in April.
And now I'm home, but then my daughter just informed me last night, it looks like the end of June, she will actually be out of the Navy. So I guess we're going to be moving back to Kentucky, which is good in ways, but I really like it here in Virginia. I got to be honest. I like it here. I don't want to go back. I do, but I don't. I like being near the beach. Oh, you had to click on notifications. Yeah. Cass, try the low light. Yeah, I agree, Roxanne. You see what Roxanne said, Cass?
So I had it on the lowest light setting, like for the longest time. And then I don't know if I thought I started seeing stuff brown. So then I was like, I need to make it brighter. So I'm just at the point where I'm like, I don't remember which setting it was on. But I'll try it. I'll keep it on this setting. And see if that works. I definitely think the bright setting is not good. So
yeah, definitely I would go with the lower setting too. And that's just, like I said, my little bit of experience. But if I had my camera on where y'all could see it, the tank, like I said, the tanks with the low light have big like bushes of it growing. And then the one tank, which is my shrimp tank that has like a hydro light on it, it does have some hair algae in it, but it's because it's down like close to the water, the water's close to the light. So it's getting a little extra light in there. And it's growing some algae. Kentucky is better. Uh-oh. Yeah, and I'm in Virginia Beach. That's the problem.
Well, I hope you get to stay where you want to be. Maybe your daughter will change her mind. I don't know.
I just want to figure out if I can get a motorhome, a camper, and if I can figure out a way to put aquariums in it, and I can just travel all over the place. I'm gonna go like Kenny. I'm gonna go on like the Danican tour.
It'd be hard to drive. I don't know how you would drive it without water just shaking everywhere.
I remember that Pimp My Ride on MTV, and they did some kind of car, and they put aquariums in the car and had a big speaker system. And I thought, now that's not going to work. They were thumping that bass in that car with those aquariums. I was like, are y'all serious? They had like those little
It
Looks like the little zone. Oh, yeah, we're at time, aren't we?
Yeah, we're past
Do
the
you
hour and a
join?
half mark. It's just because people joined late, so
Yeah,
I don't have like a particular end time, but we can definitely end it here. And it's been fun talking. Yeah, good to
I'm
see you
definitely coming
guys.
to Wisconsin, Brian. And John Larson, you better come to Virginia Beach then. He said he's got family here. Oh, yeah. Enjoyed them on Alex's stream. Yes. Alex, I think, is going to be a guest on Chris's stream this weekend on Multi-Tank Addiction. I'm got my fingers crossed. He got on there with me and Roxanne the other night, and it. I always loved hanging out with Alex. He's always a treat.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Oh, Kevin was streaming. That's what was going on. Okay. I wondered. I checked, but I didn't see who all was streaming. So this was just a lunchtime pop up, hang out.
Yeah, this time just works out. It seems like better for us. We can get some things done in the morning, and for me, I was able to sub half a day, so it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
The only thing that didn't work out was I was nervous about it too, because I was like, I don't like scheduling things for noon because I never remember if it's AM or PM. And then I was like, I did end up getting it wrong. Why
Kenny
can't
says
I remember that?
he's getting the itch to hit the road again. Do it, Kenny. Do it.
Yeah, all more power to you if you like that stuff.
Yes. What do we call him? Road show. Wait a minute, Kenny. Or we had a name for him, and I can't even remember what we called you. The road show, the Kenny Road Show, or something.
I don't know. Oh, and today is Cinco de Mayo, so I decorated for Cinco de Mayo, guys. So
Good night, T-Bone. Thanks for coming in, because he was up last night ready to rock and roll. He was.
always the first one there.
Good one, Roxanne. Oh, now I can't say it again. Allopathy. I can't say it.
I know it. The great Thursday. Alrighty. But yeah, we can end if you want, and we can end it here, and then hopefully we'll be back up in another month or two.
Maybe sooner than that. We'll make it sooner than that. I feel like we will. I've got to figure out how to live stream. I've got to figure out. I've got a laptop now, so if I can get it together, I may try to pop up here and there sometimes.
We can end on our chicken dance, or we can end on maybe a rampage if you want. Do you want a good rampage, Mary?
Nah, or if you want to.
Oh, just words of encouragement for everybody. Be planted, be joyful, be caring, be friendly, be kind, be thoughtful, be honest, be loving, be positive, be beautiful, be the best, be creative, be you, and be the light.
That's right.
Here's my rampage for the day.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks for stopping in. Next time, we'll try to set this up a little bit sooner. I don't like planning for stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in the mood. Okay, let's do it.
T-Bone said, don't leave it that long. We'll try not to.
Yeah. Don't what? Oh, the month. I don't know if you're talking about how long to stream or in between.
No. You meant don't take so long to come back.
I know it got to where it's like, I don't know, people, are they going to want to see us anymore?
Right. Who? Cassie and Paige, or Mary who?
I definitely got out of doing live streams, and it's like the longer you do it, the more you want to keep pushing it off and pushing it off. Like, yeah, you want to do it next week? Okay, we'll do it next week.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah. We'll say goodbye. We'll sign off. Take care, guys. Again, thanks for stopping in. Let us know. Let you know what you thought. If you like this, yeah, we'll keep doing it. If you like these kinds of topics, we'll do another topic. Maybe next time we'll talk more. What do you think, Mary? About fish?
Yeah, we can do fish next time.
Okay, so I'm going to end it now and sign off. You want to do the fishy dance? We'll do the fishy dance. All right, we'll do the fishy dance.
I don't know what we're doing, but
I'm sorry. The chicken dance.
Oh no, the chicken dance.
The chicken dance here. It's going to cut me off. Here we go.
Make you laugh for the day. Take care, brother.
I got my steps in.
Go. She's getting it now. She's got the scraps and everything.
My exercise for today.
I don't have any room. Go, Cassie.
I'm watching the chicken. I'm just repeating the chicken.
I'm just watching Cass.
He's like fluffing his feathers.
Fluff that feather. There you go.
Now he's going crazy.
On your silkies.
You're like, this is the Roxbury. Night at the Roxbury.
I can even do it my next turn.
So, do your chicken.
Guys.
Bye,
Bye, y'all. And bye. That was great.
Okay, I'm stopping.